Hey YouTube, Keeps here. Hope everyone is having an absolutely fantastic day today. Wanted to create a small video after completing the Platinum Trophy for Lies of P, share some tips, tricks, and an overall impression of the experience after finishing the game. When I'm doing research to understand if getting all the trophies is worth the time and effort, I always wish there was a quick video summarizing the experience available for me to listen to. This is my quick attempt to do that. In the background, I've got some footage of me fighting different bosses. If you're looking to avoid spoilers, you can have this video playing in the background as you're driving to work, studying, or doing chores around the house. Get a bit of housekeeping out of the way. I've been a trophy hunter for the better part of 8 years. Love the grind, find the experience amazing, get into it. Link to my profile below, that's public. Wanted to also share some background in order to better explain the lens that I'm looking at this game when we pursue them 100%. Spent quite a bit of hours in this genre. If it's your first Souls-like, some of the dodges or punish windows might be a bit harder to identify, but if you're just getting done with Elden Ring and are looking for another polished Souls-like experience, this is right up your alley. I'm also creating this video under the context that the viewers have a general concept of what Lies of P is as a game, following many of the popular tropes of the Souls-like genre. The bonfire mechanics as checkpoints, body recovery when you die, and some of the different leveling and progression systems involved with this game. So jumping right into this one, it is an absolutely fantastic game without much nonsense or grind at the end. PSN Profiles lists the difficulty as a 7 out of 10, 50 hours with 2 playthroughs. I finished this right around the 29-hour mark when I got my Platinum Trophy to pop. Even with my background in the genre, I do think the game is incredibly approachable and gives you some different tools in order to be successful. I don't want the 7 out of 10 to drive anyone away. That is one of the determining factors when I look at getting platinum trophies or 100%. How much time and how difficult is it? There's always a trade-off as I'm an adult and have a full-time job now. Just as a side note as well, from when the PSN Profile guide was written in September 2023, NeoWiz has made quite a bit of different balancing changes on weapons, boss health values, and implemented different quality of life improvements that I think makes the overall completion easier than when the guide was originally written. Just talking through the actual trophy list, you'll be collecting weapons, items, defeating bosses, and completing side quests with NPCs to fill out a majority of the trophy list. Depending on how much research you'd like to do when you're playing this game, it is possible to have 40 out of 43 trophies completed by the time you start your New Game Plus playthrough. You can actually get, 3 endings in one playthrough depending on how you back up your saves. You do need that extra New Game Plus playthrough though to collect a handful of records that are unique only to a New Game Plus playthrough to get the final collectible trophy done. I know that there's different stigmas when following a guide, but understanding the correct choices through the truth and lying mechanic of this game is a critical piece of information that you need to follow in order to get the correct endings. If you'd like to do a blind playthrough without a guide, you absolutely can. But for your New Game Plus playthrough, I would highly encourage you to follow the PSN Profile Platinum walkthrough section. Follow the steps. It highlights key items, dialogue choices, NPC interactions, kind of everything all in one place to make sure it goes as smooth as possible. That being said, if you do a blind playthrough, I would make note of some of the different choices that you make with NPCs. On your New Game Plus playthrough, you will need to make the opposite choice. And I did highlight some of the records are unique only to New Game Plus. You'll want to make sure that you scoop them up. I'm crazy. I have Excel spreadsheets. I do all kinds of fun stuff, but just understanding there's 16 records. Where did you leave off? What do you need to clean up in New Game Plus will go a long way to save you that extra playthrough. If you don't back up your save, It would be a full 3 playthroughs, which is okay. The game's fantastic, but just want to kind of highlight that for you to keep in the back of your mind as you're approaching this game. So I don't want all of the information above to kind of push you away from this experience. There is not that much managing that you will need. I believe the difficulty is driven off of the combat, which can be pretty intense at times, but you have summons, different ways to kind of split aggression to yourself in order to give you windows to heal. It isn't too bad. I don't want what I just shared previously to scare you away. Some of this can be common sense, but if you're not used to this genre, understanding that you will need to absolutely prioritize leveling up your health, your weight limit, which is to capacity, and stamina to 20 to 30. I believe I got mine up to 30 before I even dumped a single point into some of the damage-related stats. Motivity, which is strength. That's the build that you see on the screen. But what I've found by playing quite a bit of these games is the gain that you get from dumping points into strength or dexterity, which is technique. The benefits between that versus the trade-off of health, you're honestly just better getting more health and leveling up your weapons, because the scaling, it does come as an important piece of, your overall character build. But for a New Game Plus playthrough, giving yourself more opportunities to spend time fighting bosses through higher health and armor values is a better learning experience than it is to just be a glass cannon. And it's really either make or break when you enter a boss fight. Another way to kind of create more room for error for yourself is to bring in a Spectre. It's a summon. A lot of the gameplay that you see in the background does not have it, but that is a tool for you. I've got this crazy big bonk build with the big pipe wrench and a Krat police baton. There's a lot of different build guides that you can find online. This one is popular. You can see in some of the footage, I am just absolutely decimating these bosses with the different Fable arts as you combine them together. Another thing to make your playthrough a lot easier, independent of strength or dex or motivity technique, upgrading the puppet string to the max is an amazing tool for you. Once you get it maxed out, you can pull yourself towards your enemy, do this awesome little flipping move, and crash down on them doing a bunch of damage, but even more importantly, you do a lot of stance damage. Stance breaking, either through parrying or this move or heavy attacks, is honestly my whole objective when I go into any of these arenas. I'm trying to stance break them. That gives me a window for the critical, but it also allows me to follow up that attack with a fully charged Fable attack that pretty much does a majority of my damage. I'm just chipping away until I actually can do that stance break and follow up with that big attack to them. Just to kind of wrap this up, I appreciate you guys sticking around. Long story short, this is a fantastic game. Would encourage you to spend the time doing research, understanding the different builds. There's a lot of replayability. If you have any questions as you're playing this game, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. I love interacting with the community. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. Pizza's on me. See ya.